Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Live Reality Games, the place where we recap and review all things reality. Welcome to the Can You Survive 2021 Cast Assessment and Draft. My name is Kirk, and I just got back literally from 2 live reality games, and I am exhausted and already glued back to my computer to watch more of this. With me as co-hosts for this event, we have Davey from Season 4, New York, and I hope that you are not so gagged, Davey, that you don't have any opinions for us.
Oh, I have opinions, I think.
And also, it's been a hot second since I've seen this dude literally rocking it out at Final Six. Chris, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to dive in and give some hot takes. So thank you.
That's what we're here for. And for those of you who are watching, this is a brand new inaugural Survivor charity. It's so cool to see these charities. And just to do some stats right off the bat, this is their first year, and they raised over $10,000 for 24 charities. I mean, that's what this stuff does. It's so cool to see. And the winner, whoever it is going to take home $2,000 for their particular charity. So this is not just for Sole Survivor. This is legit money.
Stakes on the line. Yeah, no kidding.
So what went down yesterday? We're going to do a little bit of recap, and then we are going to run through all of the players, and then we're going to pick a draft and see which of our fantasy teams come the end of this event really pops out on top. But yesterday, we started off with 5 reward challenges. There was some really unique things. I love the puzzle challenge. The third one I thought was just fantastic, the storytelling. I love that one. But we saw kind of a repetition of the Green Tribe just dominating this entire day. I mean,
right.
What was there any other takes from this, Chris?
I mean, yeah, it was basically the Green Tribe wins 4 out of the 5, Blue wins 1, and it seems like more so the Pink Tribe gets lasted close to every single one. So I'm very nervous for them coming into this immunity challenge day, which I imagine, or whenever immunity challenge start, but yeah, no, I'm scared for the Pink Tribe.
Hence why I picked pink for our little decals for our names. I'm just trying to send them a little bit of love that maybe last night, whatever Survivor gods are not with them are now with them, because they got nothing, right? Literally not a thing that entire day. So I don't know. That must have been terrible last night. Just
I think they had like maybe some apples and oranges to share.
Yes. And also, I hope they got a good night's sleep, because Pink Shelter looked a little lacking.
It was pretty rough. I mean, the other tribes, the Green Tribe has a mowed lawn. They have fire. They got peanut butter and jelly, towels and pillows, and an advantage in the challenge that's going on probably as we speak. Yeah. And all they didn't get was a mosquito net.
Wow.
How dare they? Yeah, and were they the tribe that had the freaking like walled shelter? Like there's one tribe that had like logs lining where they were sleeping, and a roof, everything. It was crazy.
I know. I wish I would have grabbed those pictures now so we could show people what we're talking about, but it's literally night and day, the differences between these camps. So we also, one of the initial twists of this season is similar to Live to Give, where if you earn a lot of money for the charities, you are going to receive an advantage in the game. So on the Blue Masadas tribe, we have Liz as the top earner. In the Green Sorrento tribe, we have Chris, and the Purple I can never say this right. Is it Palmyra?
I think it's Palmyra.
Palmyra. Yep. Okay, that's Angela, who received the advantage, which is safety at their first tribal council. So they don't have to worry about being the first person eliminated from their tribe or from this season, which is pretty much everybody's number one fear when you start the game is like, am I going to be that person, right? So lucky for them. But this advantage is really a double-edged sword, in my opinion, because it is a sword. It is a weapon. And last night, after all the reward challenges were done, a twist was unveiled where they had to exile 3 people. Liz, I mean, if you followed the episodes, Liz, I think not shockingly, picked Sarah as one of her options. Sarah was exiled. Chris chose, I believe it was Damien. Am I correct there?
Yes.
Think so. And then Angela picked Logan. At exile, these players had no fire, no food. All they had was their sleeping bag. So they went from either like a relatively decent shelter or a really crappy shelter to a no shelter situation. And there they had to make the toughest decision of the night. They had to choose one of the 3 of them to receive an idol. And they chose Logan.
I was surprised. I was surprised that Logan ended up with it. I thought for sure that Sarah would. I don't know. I just expected both Damien and Logan to be sort of just like selfless about it, just based on my vibe of them as on, I don't know, just what we've seen so far. But shout out to Logan. I mean,
yeah,
good for
shout
him
out
for
to
securing
Logan.
it.
I'm assuming it has to do with what we're talking about, which is pink or purple just being so low on the totem pole, playing the challenges poorly, probably going to go to an early tribal. So maybe they felt this was a gesture, but I felt the same way, Chris. But I think I'm going to talk about this at least when we talk to Sarah, as she was a player from Surviving Maine season 2. And I think she made a similar, sometimes she doesn't do things that benefit her self-interest. She's known for helping other people. In fact, in her video, she talked about loving the underdogs. So I think maybe that's part of it regarding Sarah.
Yeah.
Another takeaway is there were a few players that received clues to the hidden immunity idol earlier in the game. Albie, Rob, and Waylon all received 1 clue to a hidden idol. If there were others that happened yesterday, I missed it. So I don't know if you guys picked up on any others yesterday.
I don't believe so. That's all that I'm aware of. But yeah. 3 pretty dangerous players to get those idol clues too.
Absolutely. Like Albie's just coming in ready for blood. And Waylon looks like he will try to play anybody at any point. So let's get right into the cast assessment. We're going to start off with it looks like Masardis tribe, but if you talk to Justin, it's got to be Masardis. So the Masardis tribe has some faces you've probably seen before if you're prone to watching live reality games. Let's get right to Barry first. Barry has our interview and tells us a little bit about his strategies. Chris, what was some of your takeaways from this guy?
Well, I do think is that a picture of Rob on there? But anyway.
Is there Rob? Yeah, there's totally
I'm weak.
Rob on
I'm
there.
weak, y'all.
So I really liked Barry based on his intro video. I thought that he came off very like calm and trustworthy. He's been doing pretty well so far in the challenges, but I feel like he's someone who knows the game, but still is going to be able to just sort of like go with the flow and not really showcase his knowledge that much. I'm pretty high on Barry in terms of what he'll be able to do. And like, I really do think he'll be able to sort of stand back and watch everything go to crap around him.
Yeah, I really liked his read and react strategy. And I wrote down quietly chaotic. These are the players that you got to look out for. And these are the players that are pretty savvy to what's happening. So I also have high marks for Barry.
Absolutely. My take was if people cannot see this side of him, if they don't see him, like the explosion goes off and they don't turn over their shoulder to actually see him sitting there with the detonator, I think he goes deep, right? If he can get away with that. And so far, I think so good in the season. So I have high marks on Barry as well. And That is totally my fault for putting the picture of Rob on there. It was really late. I was a few White Claws in.
They really do look similar.
No.
I'm so embarrassed because prior to this podcast starting, I literally said those words. I was like, I get these two confused all the time. So there's proof right here for case in point. Okay, next up is our essentially team captain who has the hidden immunity or has the immunity for the first tribal, Liz. She didn't give us a lot in the interview, but I think we've seen a lot in her gameplay yesterday, so we can kind of get some takes from that. Davey, what are some takes off of Liz from yesterday?
So I have this feeling like she's sweet and loyal. Like she has this energy in this face where you're just like, oh, I really like you and I gravitate towards you. This is someone that you may want to work with towards the end because they seem really sweet and loyal. But she also is willing to make moves. So I don't know. I think heavy is the head that wears the crown, and she had to make a choice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of glad that Liz was the one who got the immunity because I feel like she likely would have been a first target on her tribe. So it's kind of neat seeing her have that security, and hopefully it'll help her get her footing. I just say that because like from her intro, it didn't seem like she was that big of a fan. It seemed like maybe a little bit wouldn't be as in tune with the game. It seemed like she's part of one of the pairs, right? I believe she's a pair with Jody.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just felt like maybe she was like brought into this process. So I'm kind of glad to see her be able to get her footing and hopefully get a secure spot. I would like to see Liz go far. I'm not that hopeful.
I love that Christmas sweater though, so that's already giving me good vibes. I'm gonna send Liz good vibes to make it far.
I think Dustin went and stalked everybody's Facebook because he had a random picture for me for each of the slides here, and I was like, okay, where did this picture come from? Liz, she's going to be safe. She's got a lot of confidence and bravado. I think, though, she has the potential to ruffle feathers, as we saw a little bit of that yesterday during the challenges. So we'll see. I love what she's playing for and that her son was in the service and that she's proud of him. So I love it when players play these charities and they bring something that's really personal and passionate, because sometimes I think that can be the fire that you need in Survivor to keep going. So I think she's playing for the right thing. But does she have the knowledge of modern Survivor to really get her to the end game? That's where I kind of question where Liz will go. So those were official photos submitted to me by Brandon. Oh, thank you, Dustin. So he did not Facebook stalk.
Those were the official photos submitted to me by Brandon.
Speaking of, I didn't mention earlier, this is created and hosted by Brandon Clark, the winner of Surviving Maine. And he's the everything. He's been a fantastic host yesterday. So kudos to you, my friend. Let's move on to Stephanie. Chris, we got to start with you, buddy.
Yeah, so I just played with Stephanie it's funny watching Katie and Stephanie's videos where they're like, this is my first game. Like, no, it's not. But I just played Survival Challenge with Stephanie, and she was on the hot mess of a tribe, but was able to survive it pretty well until she got her torch snuffed too early, in my opinion, in one of the Twist tribal councils, where literally 2 of her 5 tribe mates became immune. And the other people just were solid together. So she got cut way too early, but I'm excited for Stephanie here because I feel like she has her feet under her now. In Survival Challenge, to me, it felt like she was holding back a tiny bit, just sort of getting her groove, testing the waters. But I really think that this game will be her place to shine, and she's going to do really well here. I think it's been said that she was being seen in one of the Facebook chats. It was said that she was talking to Sarah and Justin as potentially a 3, that they were vibing well. I feel like she did a good job of where Liz and Sarah got tension from the block challenge. She did a good job of holding her tongue and not getting involved in that flame. I don't know. I'm really high on Stephanie going into this game, and I think that she's going to fight real hard.
Yeah, I also know Stephanie personally. We played an org together, Pandora. Woo! I wrote down loyal, charismatic, adaptable, humble because of her last placing, and disarmingly positive. When you talk to Stephanie, she just has this energy that makes you go, "Oh, I really like you. I really want to talk to you." And I don't know. I just feel like so. I feel like a really good connection with her. Mi corazón. I have high hopes for her as well.
Absolutely. So she was my female winner pick for Survival Challenge. I saw that $1 million smile and that charismatic energy, and I just wanted her to win. I would have been one of her zombies in the game had I been there. She's just amazing. You know, her goal to get out to some of these games to help create more representation. I just love her passion behind that. If you talk to her personally, it's just an amazing thing to talk about with her. And so, yeah, she's super high on my list. Absolutely adore her.
You got the Stephanie.
Yeah, you got three fans right here. And her charity. Let's just I'm a teacher. I gotta say, Stomp Out Bullying. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Albie.
The infamous
Albie.
Who has not run into him or his reputation in the org or LRG community? I don't know who you are.
Right.
But he's now 20-something.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a while, so I think he's always been a 20-something since I've known him. But I was trying to figure out what that something was. 25? No. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, Albie has an idol clue right now in the game, and we all know he knows Survivor, Sequester, Big Brother. Name the game, he knows it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know him, he comes across as super innocent, charming, but he will, like he said, he's very cutthroat.
Yeah. He is playing for Feeding America, and I wrote down hungry for a win. I think that he is used to playing villain roles, and he is not afraid to get his hands dirty and play well. I think that Albie, with this ammunition of getting the clue, has the ability to go pretty far, especially with his knowledge of games.
Yeah, him getting that idol clue is the most dangerous person to get it. Yeah, Albie's been playing these games for at least a decade, right? I've been aware of him for forever. And he is completely a social chameleon. He can make you believe he's anyone that you want him to be, I feel like. Complete schemer. And I really do think he'll be able to just sort of run circles around some of these people. I do know that Alejandro knows who he is, right? And they have some sort of relationship. So he's not going to be completely undetected in the game, depending on who gets out when. I'm not sure who else will know of him, but I really do think that some of these players like Albie are going to just be able to run shop.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's going to be dangerous. I can't wait to see what he does today or probably what he did last night with the idol clue and disinformation is my guess. Great charity. We're going to see a couple different hunger charities, which I thought was really interesting coming out of COVID, where a lot of families did suffer during that time. Jackie. Okay, so we don't have much on Jackie from what I gathered. She was a last-minute replacement. We had a couple pictures, but as I wrote in there, we stand the replacement.
Wait, who did Jackie replace?
Shelby.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, and not like this is Shelby's time because Jackie's in the cast, but I was all about Shelby.
Yeah. Interesante.
I'm excited though. I feel like whenever like I run a game or anything, the people that you add as last minute replacements always make some sort of deep run or like are big
Yeah.
characters. So I'm really hopeful that Jackie will keep that trend going. She seems like she has a lot of fans rooting for her in the chat and everything, and she seems like cute and likable in her small little like "Why are you rooting for me?" video. So I don't know. I'm hopeful for Jackie.
A question: does the cast know that she's the replacement, or are they just like, "Oh, wait, hey, Jackie"? Do we know?
I don't know actually. I have no idea if they were informed ahead of time. I just know that we had the cast list and it switched. So we just have less information on her. It's so true, Chris, that sometimes these last minute ads, they also can sometimes just be complete wild cards for you as a production team where you just don't know which direction they're going to go. And I kind of hope Jackie can bring that to the season.
Yeah. I feel that. Never disappointed in last minute placements. Hey, Hannah.
Absolutely. So next up is Sarah playing for Pets for Vets.
Yes.
And I gotta tell you, I'm a dog guy. The dog charities get right to my heart. At Live to Give, they are not allowed to talk about the charities that they are playing for. They are secret. Is that the case here? Are they allowed to talk about their charity? I didn't catch that.
Not sure.
I didn't hear that they weren't like not allowed. I would imagine that they're allowed to. That would be nice, but I don't know.
So a little icebreaker.
Yeah, that's true. So interestingly enough, it's in the very first season of Live to Give, they could, but it became everybody's crutch for Final Tribal Council to get there. So in future seasons, it's almost like Survivor where you can't talk about the prize winnings, but you can talk about really anything else. It takes away that crutch you can fall on because, do you take the person that has a more emotional charity than the person who maybe doesn't? So Pets for Vets, that would be my emotional charity that I would want to take to the end. But I also love Sarah. She's from Surviving Maine season 2. I thought she played a really dominant game, and then she hit the swap, and then she picked people that weren't from her tribe for her swap team because she was the captain, and everything didn't make sense after that. So I'm hoping Sarah makes different choices this season.
I really like her little photo right there. The wind is in her hair. She has her arms crossed. She means business. I was like, wow, these cast photos are showing that these players are not playing. They are here for blood. I also wrote that she's observant, excited, and she is willing to make a strong move. So I'm excited for her. I also like that she has a soft heart. Right. I feel that.
Yeah, that was something I noticed because she seems like she has a strong personality, right? Like we've already seen her getting like the tiniest bit of conflict with the block challenge and that having the repercussion of her going to exile. I think Liz said like, "Oh, I'll send Sarah there, so maybe I could get a quiet night's sleep." And I was like, "Ooh." But I feel like she'll probably be on the winning side of that battle, right? I think that she'll probably get into a strong alliance. So it was said, I believe, that she played with Justin, Becca, and Emily. Is that correct? So having that sort of connection will help her. But I just see her being like sort of the figurehead of the alliance that's not willing to switch on them. And then she'll get cut, like you said, like similarly like in the swap or the merge. I don't think she'll have that like cutthroat instinct to abandon ship when necessary.
Absolutely. Like in this prior season, she migrates to the underdog. She says that in her video, and that's exactly what she did. Her actions prove that point. So unless she can, sometimes in Survivor, you have to run away from the underdog because you can't save them. And you have to switch up your options. So if Sarah can change that instinct, maybe she can finally get past the swap section. But But she loves playing with the underdogs. One of my favorite things about Sarah is she's so inclusive because she wants everybody to play Survivor. So if somebody's being iced out, Sarah wants to talk to that person. And I do appreciate that in a social game. And also she can drink beer like nobody's business. So I hope there's some kind of beer drinking challenge just for her. I heard production was, or they said in our chat that production was walking around with like pizza and a beer by the camp, and I thought that's so cruel for Sarah right now. She's definitely wants it. This brings us to John.
Okay, open shirt John.
Oh,
okay,
wow,
nice beard John.
Yes, like I was like, okay, John. 27 from New Jersey, playing for another food charity, Food for Life Global, a plant sustainable food hunger charity. That was a terrible way to say that, but it was all
okay. Joyzy,
yes,
fellow NG native.
Who wants to start here? Because John has a lot to say. His section was really long, and I think that says a lot right there.
Yeah, I'll start. I actually didn't have a ton of feelings on John, even though he said so much. I walked away from it, and I didn't know what to think of him at all. He's a big fan. He seems quiet. He felt pretty humble, so I don't think that he'll rub anyone the wrong way, really. But I just kind of felt like he'd get left behind in whatever happened. It didn't strike me that he'd be super initiating anything. I don't know. I'm not super convinced just yet, but he's clearly a very smart dude. So could have a lot of upswing, but I really didn't. He was the biggest mystery for me.
I think I'm just really enamored by his beard.
Right.
I think that him saying that he's not a Survivor expert, but he knows about Survivor makes him a threat, because this is the not super fan who knows the game and is willing to be flexible. I think that John also could get a lot of social capital and make some moves if he's in the right majority.
I love that he comes with this, over a decade vegan experience, and I hope that he has some. I love the adventure side of Survivor still, and I hope he brings some of that knowledge to his tribe in the game. Like, this is edible. We can eat the roots of the cattails, whatever it is. I hope that's
not the cattails, Kirk.
By the way, you can eat those. But but his strategy is very vanilla. I've definitely said this in my interviews in different games before. It's I'm gonna react to everything. It's that go-to statement that a lot of good players have. It's I'm gonna play a reactionary game, but sometimes I just want to know a little bit more. That's not all you're gonna do. So I'm curious, because everything seemed non-committal. I'm just gonna wing it. Strong alliances will be important. Well, of course, but what type of person maybe would be in your strong alliance? Do you go for the meat shield? Do you go for somebody older than you? What is your particular maybe vibe with people? So I'm curious to see how that shakes out with John. So he's kind of a mystery to me. I think he's going to talk a lot, kind of like his interview. So that might be good if he has people that really love to listen. And this brings us to Justin, yes, who is, of course, friends with Sarah from this tribe. And he's the one that tells us to call it Masadas. Yeah. Recovering from umbilical hernia surgery, something I didn't even know existed prior to this video. I don't know did you guys watch Surviving Maine at all?
No, but I've heard a lot of good things.
Okay.
Makes me want to watch it so I can get some more info.
But absolutely. I have a few things I can say about Justin regarding that season. He played a really strong game, an alpha game, not a middle of the road, under the radar thing that we kind of see lately. He's kind of old school in that sense. Let's have a strong team, strong alliance, and I'm just going to lead it and not try to hide it. When he got through swap, his social game did save him in regarding, I think it was 2 idle plays where his name didn't end up being the target. And the other people from his tribe were the ones eliminated. So he did have that going for him. So even though he comes across as super, super hard, he does have that something that he goes to socially that works for him.
Yeah. I got a similar vibe. I mean, like, I know he said he's cutthroat. I wrote down retributional. I wrote down smart and experienced. But there's something about him that made me want to go, like, I kind of want to work with you because I know the kind of person you are. You're a straight shooter and you know the game. So this is someone that I would align with just so that way I could, one, have a shield, but also he seems like a pretty stand-up person.
Yeah, I really liked Justin too. I mean, he's a bartender, and being in that role, you have to be able to talk to anyone. But yeah, he just, in his videos that we've seen so far, he seems very calm, very confident. He says, I believe he was military. So that sort of vibe just comes across. But also, I just got the impression that he was like very like low-key funny. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that, like you said, that he had a social game that helped him survive. I could very much see that. Like, I think that he is someone that, like, I wouldn't expect to be, like, I don't know, sort of like witty and cracking jokes, but there was something in his video that was just like, oh my god, I'm into this. So yeah, I think Justin, like, is obviously always going to be a target, but I think he also has very high, like, winner potential if he's able to find the right path.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to say it. He's always going to be a target, and how does he navigate throughout the game having a target like that? He said something about he would make idols. He'll do whatever it takes, and like I love a good fake idol, so I hope he does this. Please, Justin, do it for us. He's playing for the Bangor Humane Society, and again, helping out the pets that need homes. I just think that's the coolest thing. All right. Oh, we're what, like a quarter of the way through this sucker. It's just been 30 minutes. Yeah, a third. That's right. So we are on to the Sorrento tribe, the dominating tribe from yesterday.
Kia Sorrento. Let's go Sorrento. I love the color green. I'm glad that green won.
There was an Italian restaurant that I worked at as a kid called Sorrento's.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Fond memories?
Fond memories.
Fun fact. Okay. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with
Hello,
man.
Alan.
I got to spend a lot of time with this guy because he was one of the audience members that watched Chris play Survival Challenge. And I kept wondering, like, who is this dude with and why is he so interested in this game? Because he was like, and oh, Evan, I recognize Alan from something. Was he at SC? Yes, that is correct, my friend. So his wife is Katie, who we'll get to later. And they got a game plan that's way down the line, 4D chess style going. But what are some takeaways from Alan's video?
I love that he's playing for Black Lives Matter. He just seems overall really friendly. I think that when you come into a game with a secret pair, it's always like, okay, like, don't talk to me. I got you. And you kind of do your own thing. Hopefully him and Katie can come together at a point and like run ship. But it seems like a small margin sometimes. So I just want to see what he can do on his own before he potentially meets up with Katie.
Yeah, I just met Alan for like 10 minutes after the game, right? And I like fell in love with him immediately. He is just so infectious with his energy. Maybe it was because I just like came out for 5 days of starving, but he just seemed like super nice, super kind. And I don't know, I feel like he'll be able to really get in socially with anyone. I just really seeing him being the social core of any group. You mentioned not wanting to stand out. I don't think that would be possible. I feel like Alan's going to be like blaring major threat going into any sort of swap or merge situation. I really do have faith that Katie and Alan are both going to get there. And they're going to sort of quote unquote run the game. But I think that if someone's going to take a shot at either of them, they're going to take the shot at Alan first. So I think he has a lot of potential to do a lot of fun stuff, and he's very like wacky, energetic. So very, very excited to see what he does throughout this.
I think also to piggyback off of you, like
Mhm.
someone that knows that they're positive, enthusiastic, and fun. I wonder if he knows that he's like a social threat, and I wonder how he's gonna leverage that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if he's saying that he wants to blend in, but like, I don't know. I really don't think this guy can blend in, like, just in terms of a group situation. So he
Yeah.
might not realize, right? Like, he might not realize just how, like, energetic and impactful his energy is.
Yeah.
He has the most twinkly blue eyes that you've ever seen. And so he better use those eyes to hypnotize everybody. Otherwise, they are going to eventually come after him, I think. Um, I don't know. Dustin typed these out, and so we didn't. I'm glad you mentioned it, Davey. But I just think one more time mentioning that he's playing for Black Lives Matter is just something to be noted, and something that really I was just very pleased to see. He already thinks he's the winner. He's got that confidence down. You know, he is going in like, I'm going to win this thing. And when he was at the event, one of the things he was doing is he watched Katie's game, and he was every round he was sending her questions or messages. So on the way home, they could analyze round by round her strategy. So if he analyzes her game like that, he's going to have no problem analyzing these contestants on the Green Tribe. So I hope he does well, and his twinkly blue eyes go far.
He looks a little tall too. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I love it. Okay.
Emily.
Emily. She is from Surviving Maine Season 2, and she is playing for the Center Theater. And yeah. Any thoughts on?
I really liked Emily. I mean, she said that she wasn't that big of a fan, but just for some reason, I felt like she would be included in whatever group happened. She's had a cool vibe. And then I didn't realize then that she had already played one game, so that makes me even more confident going into this that she'll like sort of have a grasp of what's going on. Like of the people who said that, like, oh, I'm just gonna go along with the flow and see what happens, I felt like Emily is going to benefit the most from that. Especially being on a tribe that's going to be winning a lot, probably. I think that she'll be in a good spot to not be targeted when that group eventually like has the majority. Like she's not going to be a super threat. I think that Emily has a lot of late game potential. I just hope that she could turn on the extra switch to get herself to the end.
Yeah. I wrote down the inexperience, #weaponize that. Like, I think that when you don't have a lot of experience, you should try to like chalk it up and, you know, not make yourself that much of a target. But if she's already played before and she has the chops and it looks like she's ready to play and she won't be the first person targeted come whatever, I think that she can do well.
You know how sometimes a person gets eliminated from Survivor, not because they're the target, but because they're the least likely to have an idol played on them?
Yes.
That was, if correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's my take on why Emily got eliminated from Surviving Maine Season 2. She was, even if there wasn't one in the game, that was the reasoning going around. And so I feel like she was in the perfect, I thought she was perfectly playing that middle of the road. Like I'm gonna be there at the end no matter what. And then it just became she was the clear choice. No one's gonna save her out of these group of people. So I hope that maybe she can learn from that and try to tie herself in maybe a little bit more tightly to one or two people of influence to maybe just get her through if there's a tricky spot. Julie made a comment that we missed from last slide, which is Stephanie was at Survival Challenge. Will she reveal that Alan and Julie know each other? Hey, Julie, I don't know. Because at the same time, I wonder if everybody knew their relationship by the end of that night.
I think so.
You think so?
I think that people probably knew, like they had like a dramatic reunion where they're crying.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was on camera there. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and I feel like he actively introduced himself to me at the end of it, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did that to other people, and especially with Stephanie being pre-jury and being on the bench. I think that she would know. And I also, spoiler for a little further, Alejandro, Alex also watched a lot of it, so he might know as well. But I don't know. I don't think that Stephanie would like rat them out. I think that if anything, that they would be a trio to work together until Stephanie like very much needs to do that. But if I were Katie and Alan, that would make me very scared that there was someone in the game who knew what was going on. It might make me more prone to be open about it anyway.
Yes,
that's very true. Yeah. Or at least try to approach Stephanie as soon as possible. But by the time they have the opportunity, it might be too late. That is a dilemma for Alan and Katie, and they can't talk to each other. I'm sure they came in with the game plan, let's not tell anybody, and voila, there's Stephanie from Survival Challenge. That's much trickier than I thought. Let's move on to an orger that I've heard some people know. I do not know this person, but this is Caitlin, 24, an exercise physiologist playing for, I forget what it was, a running
passion?
Running passion.
Lovely.
Yeah. I also haven't heard of Caitlin in the org scene yet, but she had a really cool vibe about her. I was questioning her outfit choice. It seemed like not the most athletic of clothing, but nonetheless, she has been doing well. Obviously, her tribe's been dominating. I feel like she's one of those people that like will be underestimated just because of her like her voice, her energy. But I think that she will have that sort of like cutthroat edge that's needed to further her standing. So I think that Caitlin will be able to find her place in whatever situation she ends up in and be able to be very adaptable. So she's someone that I really have my eye on to like make some plays in this game.
I got really good vibes from Caitlin. One, because with her org experience, I feel like she already has that mindset of being able to find purposeful groups. I think she's able to do a lot of that mental gymnastics that comes with a game like Survivor. So I'm really excited for her for that. She also says that she loves endurance and stamina. I'm going to manifest this because it seems like Green is already on this like winning whatever, this momentum. I think that Caitlin, come like the merge, will win a really pivotal endurance and stamina challenge, and it's going to cause everybody to go into disarray. You know, like a Parvati winning an endurance challenge, and you're like, oh my god, who do we vote for now? Because we were going to vote for Caitlin, but now she won. I'm going to manifest that for her.
I love it.
I mean, it should be a pogo stick challenge, right? Like,
I really want to see that. That was the most enticing part of her video.
So it seems like, you know, she's more prone to the Big Brother strategy than Survivor strategy. And I love watching Big Brother players because they come in with a little bit different mentality. There's less of the team tribal stuff, and it's a little bit more self-interested right at the start. They're looking for voting blocks and people that they can move around as opposed to not necessarily always be locked down with the same people. So I'm excited to see if Caitlin can bring that towards the end of the game, because as much as that terrifies me when I play Survivor, I love to watch players like that. Next up is our Chris. And for some reason, we didn't put many notes on this, but he is the captain essentially of the Sorrento team. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, it was Chris that won the safety. So we know he's safe. Huge Survivor fan. He's playing for the Autism Society of Maine. And we absolutely love that because, you know, Survivor charities all across the nation support a lot of autistic different groups and needs. So we're super excited to play for that. And he's looking for a group of 5 loyal numbers very quickly.
I read somewhere.
I felt like it was all over the place. I'll tell you that. Like, I could not figure this out. I hope his strategy is not as obvious as the wig that he was wearing.
I'm weak. I read somewhere that 5 is a great number for groups, 5 and 7. I think that he's trying to find a really purposeful group, and I also didn't have a lot of information written for him because he was everywhere, but it seems like he is very manipulative and decisive. I don't know what that means, but I think that he's either gonna get shot out pretty early or he's gonna ride that momentum and make it a little far. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on Chris yet.
I'm also not sold on Chris. I mean, I'm sold on him in terms of entertainment. I'm not sold in terms of gameplay. I think he's going to bring a lot to this game. I think him being the captain is going to be a good role for him in terms of being able to slot himself in a group. Like, people might just be looking to him on the first vote because he probably will say a name. But I just think Chris is super intense, right? Like, there's no way that's not going to read. And I just feel like he's going to overplay at some point. He's going to make himself a target, and I really don't think that Chris can make it to the end. I hope he proves me wrong, but I just think that he's going to slip up at some point and say the wrong thing to the wrong person.
There's a way to come across as a Survivor super fan that's going to be helpful to you as an Alliance member, and sometimes it can be threatening to be such a super fan, and I think he might be on that threatening side of super fan. He might know too much information.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Jody playing for the North Pond Association. You're right. She's the cousin of Liz. I missed this the first time I watched the video. So when you said that, I was really surprised. So we have the secret blood versus water relationship here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jody, I felt like of the two of them, she was the one who would be more in tune with everything, right? Like, she was the one who like really wanted to do this, and she brought her cousin Liz along. Yeah, she seemed like very upbeat. She seemed like she would be like lovely to get along with. She did seem to lack a bit of that like competitive edge that you look for in someone who's going to really go far and cut people. We have heard from Chris that she is in trouble on this first vote. When he went to exile Damien, he said, oh, the first vote's probably going to be Jody, but I'll send Damien instead. So it's not looking great for our girl Jody, but if she's on this tribe that's going to just completely win out, who knows if she gets to a swap. I think that she has a lot of potential if she escapes this, so here's hoping for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that if she's the first name that's come up, that she doesn't end up being the last name come up by the time Tribal Council actually comes for the Green Tribe. As we have experienced, I'm sure you guys have too, that first plan does not end up being the final plan by the time you sit down on the stumps.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I know, thank goodness.
So I hope so. I think Jody's here for the adventure side of Survivor. I don't think it's necessarily all about strategy. Like, she even says that she wants to wait and see for strategy. A strategist wants to come in and talk to you right away or as soon as possible. So I think she's in for the adventure and the love of that. So maybe that can help, lower any issues or threat level with her. And she can kind of snake by a little bit before people realize that everybody's going to take her to the end, Yeah. But I don't know. She's not super high on my list, but we'll see how far Jody can get.
Yeah.
And
Rob. Oh, not that.
Okay.
Also, I want to send some good vibes to Jody because I don't think that I said a lot. I wrote morale booster for her too.
Right.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's true. You do need that person on a tribe too that brings levity and positivity and humor. So I hope or even the person that laughs all the time. That can sometimes be everything that your tribe needs. I love that Dustin wrote he's from something, Massachusetts.
Something, Massachusetts.
Right.
This
Oh
is
my gosh.
embarrassing. So this is the player and host from Survivor Northeastern. Yeah. Wow.
So I wrote no chill mentality. I think that Rob is someone who understands his excitement level and he's just gonna play. Like, there are certain people that once they get into a game, they're just like, I have no chill. I'm gonna play, I'm gonna make moves, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. I feel this for him. Not a floater. I don't know how I feel about Rob in terms of how far he can go in terms of longevity, but I hope his no chill mentality does pay off.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get the best energy from his intro video, right? But I don't necessarily know if that'll translate into the game. But his intro video is just super like self-serious and
Yeah.
like kind of like a negative energy about how much he's gonna do in this. And I was like, oh, okay, Rob. But Northeastern people, whenever they go into the org community, from what I've seen, always seem to excel by some means. So that's a good little branding for him. I think that he'll have their support. So I do think that he will have like a mind for the game and everything. I just don't know if the energy that came across in this intro video carries over to this intense camping environment. If a lot of people will like really want to connect with him over others on a very social tribe. But I think that he'll be like very active in like competing in challenges, and he did get the idol clue, which I imagine he would be the type of person to really go for it. So we'll see.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see if he already started the idol hunting. I don't know. Did we see the idol clue itself yet? Do we know what that is? Yeah,
we do not, I believe.
Okay, so it could be anywhere. But I'm excited because he is. He even mentions this, that being a production member gives you an advantage. I feel like there's a certain truth to that I don't know what it is, but we've seen people who have come from another production play in another game and do well. And is it the experience, just the knowledge, having witnessed lots of players go to tribal council? Maybe it's all combined, but with that and his kind of killer instinct, if we can see that combined with what you're saying, Chris, like other sides of his personality, I think he could definitely have the potential to go deep in this game.
Mm-hmm. Aww.
Yay! I hope Sierra's here, and I hope she's on jury because she gives us the Eliza reactions we all need. She's the hairstylist from Joplin, Missouri. She's playing for Unearthed Potential. And yeah, I love her. I love her vibe. I love her energy.
I do too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I wrote strong social skills off the bat, and strategic potential is strong as well. I don't know if I know Sierra or not, but I have this like familiar energy to her. I'm excited to see what she does.
I think that goes along with sort of her profession too, like being a hairstylist. You kind of have to be everyone's best friend. So maybe that's just the vibe she gives off. It's like you have to make people feel comfortable. And I think she mentioned something about being underestimated and people like not seeing her as smart as she is. And I think that that's a very deadly combination to have in a Survivor player, right? Like I think that Sierra is going to have a lot of people wanting to be her friend. I think she's going to bring a very like lighthearted, joyous energy, which you need in this sort of environment. And I don't know. I just think that she will be able to maneuver as she needs to. Seems like she's very excited to like play the game of Survivor at its core. And I'm very high on Sierra. She's one of my top picks. I'm very hopeful that she'll do well here.
Mm-hmm. You know, she's married with kids, which just screams that she has patience. And you know, you need patience with some of your tribe members in Survivor. It says it might go away. She remarks that if she's hot or hungry, the other side of her might come out. This is what I live for. Like, I love players that show all sides of their personality, good and bad. They come across as the most authentic, I think, if they get to the end of the game. So if she's there and she showed her whole self, the good, the bad, the ugly, I think she can win this thing and take home that W.
Damien
lives in the woods of Maine, playing for Spirit's Place.
Aw, I love that tank. Tie-dye tanks. I like that he's a math teacher. Shout out to the teachers in the world. And that he lives in the woods. I think that's going to garner him a really unique skill set. So he seems pretty charming. He understands how to be analytical in terms of being a math teacher, and he is outdoorsy.
Yeah. Damien's like the biggest wild card to me on this cast. I like absolutely adore him as a casting choice. Like, who is this man who lives in the woods and but like also is just like a math teacher and is playing for cats? Like,
Yes, cats.
That's not what I was expecting at all from him. But even just like seeing him like be picked for the exile twist and then just sitting there for 20 minutes on his own with like no idea of what's happening. He kept very calm, very composed, didn't freak out at all. Seems like a very like friendly dude that you'd want to be around, would be comforting to have around in this camping situation. I'm like, I find myself like rooting for him potentially the most out of anyone, but I like, he's just a question mark. I have no idea who this man is. He's an enigma. But I'm really excited to see what he does.
You know, it says he's not a huge Survivor fan, but he did his research. I've always like, where? Wikipedia, YouTube, what's the research for Survivor? And he was just exiled by Chris last evening.
Mm-hmm.
So if there couldn't have been a more perfect person to be exiled, is the person from In the Woods, Maine, that likes to camp a lot. So I bet Damien just literally probably had a moment, like one of like those Survivor moments you have that really just that stick with you and remember. I bet he's going to remember that exile for a long time. He'll probably would remember it more if he had gotten the idol, but that's what happened. So Damien, I don't know either. I think he's a wild card. I have no idea. He's definitely not first on my list to pick for the draft. Okay.
Elmira.
Here we are with Pretty in Pink or Purple, whatever it is. We're going to find out a little bit more about Waylon, who's playing for the Cancer Association from Ashland, Ohio. His video was so well made.
Yeah, very professional. Waylon has a lot of energy. He very much plays up that like Fabio-ish vibe of just like, oh, I'm just a goofball. But Waylon does have the strategy behind it. He has played, I'm not sure how many games, but at least a couple. I saw him in All Out. And he is a good strategic player. He has been able to maneuver himself in the past. To me, he comes off very used car salesman, but I don't know if that's a general vibe. But I think that he'll be making people laugh, and people will underestimate him if they haven't heard of him before, which I doubt anyone has. I think that he has a lot of potential, but and I'm excited to see what he does here.
I agree. I guess with the used car salesman idea, but I think he's more Mr. Nice Guy and the charismatic talker. I think him being a journalist is what is catching me off guard, because these are the kind of people that know that other people like to talk, and so by Waylon being able to engage other people, he's gonna get a lot of social capital. I get good vibes from him. I hope Pink doesn't lose first.
He has the idol clue, and so we'll see how he's going to use that to his advantage. I feel like also journalists learn to talk in a very specific intonation, and that Waylon has that intonation naturally already, and I think it might help in Survivor to maybe lose a little bit, not all of it, but maybe talk a little bit just more normal. Like, I don't know what the word is. Less like a journalist and more just like your regular voice.
Yes. I also wrote, hope he knows how to whisper.
Ooh.
Right.
Because I feel like people that are really loud and love to talk have a hard time whispering. And I don't know. Hope he knows how to whisper.
Yeah.
That's great advice, Davey, because it's true. You'd rather have a person saying, what? What did you say? What? Than actually saying it very loud.
Yeah.
And I did like as well that he put his at or whatever it's called in the background of his video. I thought that was very clever, just some branding to establish himself.
Logan.
Logan is here, 25, a marketing manager from Old Town, Maine, also playing for a theater company, just like Emily.
I didn't write a lot. I wrote insights. I don't know why I wrote that. I think that if he's loyal and ready to backstab, but he's also like flexible and wanting to play freely, I think that the insights that he gets from other people, maybe that's the reason why I wrote it, will come into play. I also love how I love how the video says some theater company. I don't know if that's actually his charity or if like the person that was making the video didn't know what theater company he was playing for.
I liked that too. Yeah, it was a mystery. I'm imagining that's actually the name, but yeah, Logan. What I wrote is he didn't leave a strong impression on me, but in a good way. Like there's a lot of people that say they're gonna adapt, that they're gonna like go with the flow, but I really believed it from him. I felt like he is the type of person that like actually will be able to completely mold and adapt to his surroundings. And I think that he's going to be someone who will actively bounce around rather than just letting the game come to him. I think he's someone who can actually choose what direction the game will go. And I think that's kind of evident with him getting the first idol. Like that surprised me. I didn't expect it from him, but it's like, no, this is an actual player here. So I wrote down he's my sleeper pick to go very far, potentially all the way. I have a lot of faith in Logan, and I hope that being exiled from his tribe doesn't do him too much damage.
Yeah. And he has the idol.
Yeah, right.
So he's gonna going back to his tribe that just exiled him. He's got new life, new strategy. This is an aesthetic point of view, but I noticed he's one of the only players that didn't get the memo about what color to wear for tribes.
Not this.
And I think it might be kind of smart because I just got from a game, Live to Give, where the players had T-shirts with the color of your team. And I felt like it was just always a blaring red flag of what team you were just on in any conversation. So I'm wondering if like maybe missing the memo is actually like hitting the target. And if there's a swap, I'm not going to look at you and just think pink tribe.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's a subconscious thing. I just thought it was interesting. I don't even know if this is intentional or not. But I thought maybe it's something to learn from, especially if he does go on, like Chris says, to win the game. Maybe you should stop wearing your tribe color.
Maybe he didn't have pink.
Yeah, I think that's probably just it. I think that Logan's just not a man who wears his pink often.
That's fair. Next up is Alex from Iowa City, Iowa, works at the university and is playing for the Unda Huskies. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so I could talk. Alejandro is one of my best friends in the community, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, so he was in the first game that I played in Dare 7. Alejandro has been playing online reality games for like at least a decade, mostly alias games. So yeah, he's just super passionate, especially with his charity. He was talking to me about it, and he's playing for people that he has a direct connection to. Like these are students that he's worked with that are going to be watching him play the game. So I know he's feeling like a lot of pressure to really bring it home for them. I think like of the people who are like going to have a fire in them, that's probably going to be one of the most driving factors. Alex is a complete sweetheart. He's very compassionate, very loyal in games, but also does have the strategic mind. He trained for this. He was doing exercising for months beforehand, making sure he was in the best shape possible. I don't know. I'm so hoping for him that he'll do well. He has my whole heart, but I am a little nervous just because he does sort of like go down with the ship often in games. He's if he finds someone that he really connects with, he's not going to go against them. So really hoping for the best with him. I'm scared that he's on this tribe that's potentially not going to do well, but a lot of faith in my good friend Alex.
Yes, I want to read a tweet from Twitter, if you will. It says, "I changed seats with someone so he could sit with his family, hoping this good karma carries into the game." That was a tweet by Alejandro yesterday. And I don't know, I just really I'm really drawn to the kind of player that Alex is. I think that being a chameleon is great. I think that having that master's in student affairs and knowing how to engage a big group of people is going to come into play. I have really high hopes for Alex, and hopefully he doesn't go down with this ship. Because I would love to see him in a merge situation. I would really love that.
That's when a player plays the chameleon strategy. That's when it's really interesting to watch those players, because that's when sometimes the things get a little tied back up, where this version of you and this version of you isn't necessarily coalescing with other players. So I love when players like that get to the merge. I'm excited to see that play out. So I'm guessing that his charity, it's Undocu Husky. So I'm assuming it's undocumented students from his university. That's amazing. Yeah. What a cause. Yeah. And again, something that's going to be so close to his heart. So the fire is going to be lit probably very fast in this game to do well. Yes. I'm super stoked to hear so much good stuff about him, and I hope he can take it far.
Go Alex, go Pink.
And he will, just to throw in there, like, he loves Stephanie. He watched all of Survival Challenge, so he'll be looking to pair up with her potentially. And I called him on my 12-hour drive home, and I gave him the whole lowdown of everything that happened. So I did mention speaking positively of Katie as well. So I'm hoping that they potentially link up. But he's definitely aware of Katie and Stephanie and maybe potentially Alan, but who knows?
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So there's another number potentially if SC players. Now, one thing that's been interesting, Chris, is the past year we've kind of seen players that know each other not necessarily work together in these games and kind of go in the opposite direction. Yeah, I know, Chris. I know. So I'm wondering, will that pattern continue, and can you survive, where players will be like, I worked with you before, I'm going to move on to somebody else?
Right.
Let's take us to essentially the captain of this tribe. We have Angela, who raised the most money for her team. I think maybe the whole event. I can't remember, but she's a critical care nurse from Brewer, Maine. She's playing for the American Brain Tumor Association. That's near and dear to her heart, as she lost someone to brain cancer.
I really liked Angela. Just everything that we've seen from her so far, she seems like just such a genuinely kind person. You could tell when she was making the decision for this exile night that she was genuinely pained by it. I think that will come across to other people, or at least I'm hoping that she will be someone good to bring in. Again, being in this leadership role, I think would be a good spot for Angela to have people coalesce around her. But she's a huge fan. She has the strategic mind for the game. She's very personable. So I just really think that she has the cards to set herself up to do well. And I think that if she's able to get past the first phase, then she's going to, that's her biggest hurdle, right? So the fact that she already has the first immunity is a good start, and I really am rooting for her.
I think that if Pink is under fire, her mentality of I need to get into an alliance fast is going to weaponize a majority, and her friendliness and her super fan knowledge is going to bode really well for her. I'm excited for Angela.
I like the whole idea of let's make this alliance fast. She's coming into this game understanding what a live reality game is, regardless of her background and how much she knows Survivor, because she's coming in knowing she has to move a little bit quicker than you would have to do on the TV show. You don't have 3 full days. You're going to have to do this in 30 minutes or less, maybe. So go hustle. So hopefully she's got the hustle that it takes to get really far. Next up is Becca, also from Surviving Maine Season 2. She was a member of the jury that season.
Ooh.
She is playing for the Barbara Bush Children's Hospital.
Okay. Okay. So I have two things that I wrote down for her. One, high energy off the bat. I get really good vibes from Rebecca. I think that hopefully her high energy positivity is received well and she survives the first vote. And I also wrote caffeine withdrawal, because I know that players, and I'm speaking personally, players that drink a lot of coffee sometimes get into these weird like day 2, day 3 funks because they don't have the caffeine to like push them as they normally would. So hopefully she has compensated for that and she's still like chipper without coffee.
Yeah, that high energy thing, like from her intro video, that's just the number one takeaway. She was there, she was going at it. She's very funny. And I think that having that energy carry into camp is probably a lot of why like the chat is saying that Pink is like the Kumbaya tribe, that they're the everyone loves everyone tribe. So I think that that'll help her out a lot. What else did I write for Becca? She said that this is her redemption game in one of the videos. So I was surprised that you mentioned that she made the jury, because I thought maybe she just like did very poorly and was like really trying to amp herself up here. But I think having that mentality of like, oh, I did poorly, I made mistakes in a past game, can really help you of being like, okay, this is what I did wrong and this is what I'm going to correct. So yeah, I'm hopeful for Becca that she'll be able to do well.
Absolutely. Like you're saying, these high expectations she sets for herself is clearly what it is. It's like she wants the win, right? Like she's not satisfied because she didn't get to final tribal council yet. I relate to her mentality that this is a vacation and we're crazy fucking people, right? Like who does this? And I really relate to Becca because like, just like you said, Davey, earlier, it's like I'm watching these games and I'm like, oh yeah, I would do anything to go back out there and not have as much food as I should have and get bit by all these bugs. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm excited to watch her play and see if she can learn from those mistakes. She's the embodiment of caffeine. I feel like she's so like, blah. And it's so fun to watch her. I also we never talk about it, but it's the elephant in the room. She's differently abled, and I feel like that's a constant inspiration for people both normally abled and differently abled. I just find like that is such an inspiration, and we don't talk about it enough. And I know she doesn't want to be the poster child on the wall for it, so I'm just going to leave it right there. But Becca, you're an inspiration for people, and someday I want to do this vacation with you. I think you would be such a fun, positive person on a tribe. Like you got that bubbly energy that you need when you're feeling down. And I'm sure the Purple Tribe has felt pretty down over the last day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to
Crystal.
Crystal from playing for Project Sparrow. And she says she's got no strategy at all, but I don't know about that.
I see her as someone who is self-actualized and understands her strengths. I think that her social game is going to be on point. I think that she has a big enough personality where she's not, too quiet, but also like she just knows herself. So she'll be able to move freely based on what she knows. She also is part of my family, the not great at math or puzzles family. So go Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal, again, a new fan. Like I got the impression that she was brought in by her friend, but who has now dropped from the game. So I'm like, oh God, Crystal, how are you gonna survive this? But she had like a lot of like directness in her video is sort of what struck me. I am worried for Crystal in terms of whether or not she'll be able to find her place on this initial tribe. She's not really like hyping herself up as like being strategic or being like analytical or anything like that. So I think that she would really need to have someone pull her in to something rather than making it happen for herself. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that she has a lot of like love to give, clearly being a foster parent, and I'm hopeful that she'll find her spot, but I'm worried for her.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it might be an advantage that Shelby dropped and she no longer has a partner in the game, simply because this might be something, if you're a new player, you might want to like drop this knowledge a little bit earlier than maybe you should. And now that it's just not part of the game, I feel like if anything could like reversely help Crystal, I think that potentially could.
Uh-huh.
I think Crystal, clearly she's got a big family in the sense of fostering, step family. So if she looks at her tribe as her foster children, I think she could become the mom of the tribe, but she's going to have to actively make those relationships happen, I think, to take her further into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go on next to Patrick, an English teacher for 12 years from Liverpool High School. He's playing for Adopt a Family.
Okay, New York. I wrote deadpan in his video, but somewhat engaging. I don't know. I was really like I was really charmed by his like, hi, I'm Patrick, and this is my charity, and this is who I am. I was like, all right, you're engaging. But I think that I think he's a teacher, right?
Yep.
I think that teachers have such a unique knowledge and skill set, and I hope that he can be a smart social strategist and, make relationships. I think that you have to be able to build relationships as a teacher. So hopefully he sticks around with like Katie and Logan and Angela and Crystal. I don't know.
Yeah, he was very intense in this video. Very like direct to the camera. I wrote down, please blink.
Oh my God, I know, right?
But in the same time, that intensity reads as passion with him. He's very he cares about the game of Survivor, and he mentioned they posted videos of like, why should you root for me? And he said that he's very much stepping out of his comfort zone here. Like, he's probably not much of a camper, just throwing himself in a completely new social situation. I think like if someone finds that sort of fish out of water energy endearing, I think that could help Patrick. But I was impressed by him. He stepped up a lot during the day, during the reward challenge day, being in the individual roles. But obviously that didn't come through that well for the Pink Tribe so far. So hopefully he can recover from that. But in terms of just someone who's going to be like super changed by the experience, I feel like that's going to be Patrick here. So I'm hoping he can make a deep run just for that, just so he can experience everything. But I am, again, a little worried for him on like what seems to be like a tribe that could have a very comedic social core. I don't know if he'll find his place in that environment.
Maybe he'll blink then.
He'll be confused. What is this funny? Yeah. Maybe if they're reading the classics, if they're going over like their favorite quotes from Hemingway. So I think Patrick's a perfect example of when you're auditioning for Survivor or even a live game. Sometimes the video doesn't translate your personality, and we're just like saying the things we want to say. Because like when I saw him in the games, and even if you look at the picture on the right, it just, you got a different energy from him yesterday than the video, like completely. And I hope he brings more of that energy than the video energy, which I think was just like you said, Chris, it was intense, direct, which is great, but it wasn't very personable, which I think is a huge part of Survivor. Let's move on. Good luck.
Yeah.
Katie,
Katie.
Our was it fourth place goddess or from a
Fourth, I
survival
think.
challenge? Yes,
Yep.
taken out in that spot that all the greats go.
Mm-hmm.
This is not her first game, but maybe it was her first audition. And
Yeah, right.
of course, as we know, she is married to Alan. Chris, let's start with you because you got a lot of experience with Katie.
Yeah, it was weird. Katie was someone that when I was playing with her, we had the one world twist at the beginning. We didn't socialize a lot with the other initial groups, but Katie was someone that I had just a 2-minute conversation with about her job as a therapist. And from that moment on, like, we just had a connection. I don't know if it was just like a me thing or a both of us thing, but I was always checking to make sure that Katie was still in the game because I really enjoyed her and wanted to reconnect. And then we were actually able to at the merge. So I think that she just is super duper strong socially, right? Like she is able to draw people in close. And you saw that in the game that we played, that she was also able to be cutthroat. She was able to make those hard decisions. And then when she was in the firing line, she talked herself out of it. She had such strong relationships that people didn't want to take her out. I mean, I flipped on my group specifically for Katie. So I am very much a believer that she'll be able to find her way into the core of whatever dynamics happen here. And then Katie's dangerous because there's not really a reason to take her out after she escapes that first couple of votes. So I think that she'll always make a deep end game run. And she, I don't know, I love her to death. So here's we go for it, Katie.
I liked in her video, she looked straight at you and was very convincing with the kind of player and what she was going to bring to the table. I think that she has this immense ability to win others over, and paired with her experience in her last LRG and having secret pockets of people, I'm very astounded by what Katie can do.
Absolutely. The one hard point on her game is sometimes her performance in team challenges can be low, as we saw in the gross food eating challenge, or I'm thinking there was another one with a lot of running that just really winded Katie on that particular day. So, as long as her tribe is not isolating her, and when you look at her tribe, I don't think she's going to be the weakest performing member of that particular tribe if they go to tribal council first. So I think she can definitely survive those early ones again, which from an audience perspective, she did appear like she was holding her tribe down at survival challenge early on when like Jamie was still in the game during the fire making portion. So I think if she gets past that, she has all the skills it takes to get to the end of this game. I just wonder if she can get past 4. I really wonder if she can get past to that final tribal council spot, whether it's 3 or 4, or if she's always going to be taken out there. So I think, like you said, Chris, or Davey, whoever said it, like she's going to need those pockets of people that you mentioned for sure, Davey. Like I think she's going to have to get some of them further in the game, which she just didn't have at Survival Challenge. All of her pockets were empty. She's playing for, it looks like a diabetic cause. Her father's a diabetic, which is super cool as well.
And I think that having her husband in the game would I do think that they have the potential to actually just run it, so I think that could be a really strong route for her. Like if Alan gets sniped at 5 or 4 and she's able to make her way to the end, I think that could be a winner path for Katie in this one.
Totally. It's like a I'm thinking Blood versus Water, Jocelyn and what's his name?
Jacqueline and John.
Yeah, Jacqueline and John, when he got sniped out of the game and she kind of was able to push herself further in it. All right, so this is what I've been waiting for. We are at the draft.
All right.
I'm going to have to figure out how to edit this really quick. Let me click on it. And okay. So what's going to happen, guys? Does anybody want to go first? Anybody want the first pick? If you get first pick, you get last pick. So you get you get screwed over at the end anyways. Otherwise, we could just go up and down the screen. So how this works, if you've never done it before, is it's a snake draft. So once we get to the end of the first row, that person will pick 2, and then we'll go back. And we're going to have basically a fantasy tribe of your favorites. Your goal is to have the most people survive towards the end of the game. We'll check it again once they get to like jury, and we'll see who actually has the winner pick. And if it's one of you guys, we will send you some sweet swag from Live Reality Games to your house.
Swag.
And if it's me, I'm gonna keep some of the swag for myself. We have some. I don't have any of the buffs on me, but we have like some of these rainbow Live Reality Games keychains, but we'll send you some buffs for sure.
Love that.
So how about this? I'm going to go first. Davey, you go second. Then Chris, you'll get pick 3 and 4, and then we'll cycle back up to the top. And I'm just happily going to make all of you mad because I know you all want my girl. Where is she? I'm picking the one and only Steph.
You bet! You bet!
I'm picking her.
Hey, you had the opportunity to say you wanted to go first, Davey.
No, it's fair. It's fair. I'm just being dramatic.
No.
I have to keep her on top of my winner pick. It's. I feel like I picked Kwoo and Stephanie. Kwoo already won. It's got to be Stephanie's shot. It's got to be.
Yes.
All right. Who do you want, Davey, for your first pick?
Well, I really wanted Stephanie,
So
but I'm gonna take Katie.
Ooh, all right. I'll clean this up and make it look fancier and prettier after the show's over. So that means, Chris, you get 2 picks.
Yeah. So I will go with my heart here and pick my good pal Alejandro Alex as my first. Really just rooting for him. And I do think that he has a lot of potential here. For my second pick, I'm going to go a little off the wall here, and I'm going to go with Barry. I don't know. I really just felt like he isn't ever going to be targeted and could make a deep run at this.
Okay.
Interesting. That's good. Also, I just noticed that my dear friend Shelby's picture is in the list. That's
Jackie.
That's Jackie. Yes, Shelby is Jackie. Which, by the way, I gotta make a point. Shelby had the eyelashes for her video, and it reminded me so much of Suzette Amaya when we played Survivor British Columbia season 5, because her luxury item was her eyelashes. I stand the queen. Okay. So, all right. So we're heading backwards. Davey, it's your pick.
I'm gonna go with Justin.
Okay, where are you? There you are, Justin. And I am going to pick. It's funny how we're picking like so much from the non-green tribe right now.
Right.
And I'm going to pick another non-green tribe member. I'm going to go with Sarah.
Okay.
Nice.
Power move. Then you go again, right?
Oh, shoot. I don't know how to do my own thing. All right. Cool. Thanks, Chris. Maybe you should be the host next time. I am going to go with facial expression extraordinaire Sierra.
Nice.
That was going to be my next.
Sorry.
I think I'm gonna choose someone from. I don't know why I'm not choosing from green. This is so interesting. I'm gonna choose John.
Okay, where are we, John? Right in front of me. Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's John.
Yeah, but you're on Davey. Yep.
Sick beard John.
Okay, so I'll finish the potential trio. I'll take Alan as my next pick. I just think he's really gonna have a strong social game.
Nice.
And after that, who's left? We're gonna go for Albie. I think that he's just gonna be dangerous in any game that he plays.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I really have all the men, huh?
Yeah,
Not
you
do
do.
Purposefully.
I am gonna choose Waylon.
Oh, good choice. He was on my list to pick too. Okay, I'm gonna go with some. I'm just gonna go with fan favorites because they're alum from Surviving Maine. I'm gonna go first with Emily. I love her under the radar game. I think she can go far if the numbers work right and she doesn't get targeted. And I'm gonna go with our little cup of caffeine herself, Becca.
Okay, Becca.
I'm going for all females, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Our
teams are very opposite.
I'm gonna go with Caitlin. Endurance Stamina Queen Caitlin.
Excellent.
All right, so I'll keep the trend going. Why not? For the stick of it, I'll pick Logan as my next. I think he really could run away with this one, but then I'll break it finally, and I'll take Angela.
Yes. Get another captain on your team.
Right, yeah.
Is it just me or does anybody else get Logan and John confused?
No, I can tell beards apart.
It's the long. Okay, so who is next, Davey?
Let me just double check. I am going to pick Crystal.
Ah.
I mean, even on my team, methinks.
I am going to take our standing replacement of Shelby. I'm going to take Jackie onto my tribe. We'll see what damage she can do. Oh, and I get to pick another. So I'm just going to keep the females rolling. Oh gosh, do I pick Liz or
players?
Jody? Ooh, it's funny. I have Sarah. I'm also going to pick Liz. We'll see how that rolls.
Both sides of the battle. Whoever comes out on top.
Yeah. And
is it me?
Davey. Yeah, Davey, there's 5 picks left for you.
Okay, I am actually gonna pick Jody. I did the notes of everybody yesterday when I looked at their intro videos, and for some reason I think that her morale boosting might bode well for her. So let's go, Jody.
All right, so I guess I'm only having one woman on my team. Love that for me. So I will round out my team with is that Rob?
Yes.
Yeah, Rob, and finally our mysterious king Damien. Yeah.
Okay, Damien. All right, let me see. Who? It's Patrick and Chris left?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the teacher. Wait. I want to see. No, I just want to see how many of each I have on my draft. I have 2 blue, 2 green, and lots of pink. I'm gonna choose. I'm just gonna choose Chris.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah. Oh, I want to have a little variety. I do like you, Patrick.
Yes.
I do like you.
And I think it's appropriate. I have a degree in teaching English. So the English teacher joins my team. Patrick, rounding mine out. Let's see. It's a nice little divide. We all have a nice sprinkle from each of the 3 tribes.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Patrick was the last one left over. I feel like he does have a lot of potential here. So not a knock on him at all. I think that he does have a lot of like strategic mind behind him.
Yeah. I think. Wait, Chris, you have only 1 woman player. Kirk, you only have 1 male player, and I have an even split.
We'll see. If this turns into a battle of the sexes, then who knows?
I just can't help but stan all these ladies. They're amazing.
Yeah. This shall be fun. The V chat is also popping. It seems like Robbie, shout out to Robbie Harris, sending lots of updates. Love that.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. So if you haven't already known about this, there is a live feed chat. You can hit up any of us and we would get you into that chat. It's on Facebook Messenger. And if you're missing updates, you can get all of the updates right from production themselves. They send us cool behind the scenes pictures, videos. So you get to see a little bit extra than you just see on the page. Feel free to reach out to us for that. There's already been stuff happening this morning, so we're already behind. You're going to hear another live feed update coming from Live Reality Games later on this weekend, so stay tuned till that. Before we go, Chris and Davey, thanks for getting up so early and doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Nothing like
You're
a 6
welcome.
a.m. podcast. So, yeah. No, thank you so much for inviting me on. This has been so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll see you guys in the chat. And head over right now because there is stuff happening for Can You Survive? As we speak,
Oh, yeah.
challenges galore. See you there, folks.
Awesome.